Good start. Okay. Take two. Oh boy. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so first thing we need to do is do TV remote. I didn't get that, hold up. Alright, so we need to get the TV remote to get the password to this computer. And it has some story related stuff. It's gonna say basically like, why are you here? Okay, the world is falling. You only have one shot to save it. So we get a branch from a tree, and we're gonna light it on fire. Because, you know, that's safe for children to do. So, the real question is, how many cats does it take to screw in a light bulb? We'll find out in a little bit, but that's just the question of the game, is how many cats does it take to screw in the light bulb? So, I should mention that this game is really weird. There's going to be a lot of things happening outside of the game, like in a file explorer, or in like separate text boxes, that you're not going to be able to see. Because I don't have what's it called? I don't have everything window captured, because it just straight up wouldn't work. So, stepping out of the house now, we're in the Barrens, which is the first major area in the game. And immediately we get introduced to the fast travel mechanic, which is going to be very useful. So we walk up here because we need to go to the dock, but as soon as we enter the dock, we just travel back to the entrance. So we need to go talk to a story character to get the story set up, basically, before we can do anything else. So this is ProphetBot. His name kind of explains a lot. He's a robot who sees prophecies. And he's like, we're gonna save the world. We're gonna save the world. You're gonna save the world because you woke up in a bed with a light bulb. The light bulb is the sun, by the way, in the story. But basically, we just learned that I'm basically, the person playing the game is the god of this world that you're in right now. So now that we talked to ProphetBot, we need to sleep. This is a mechanic. You have to sleep once in each area. The game saves every time you go to sleep, but when you sleep, the game closes. So you're supposed to close and reopen. And you get a dream sequence that you might not see because game capture on OBS is slow. And then Nico talks a bit. So there's a lot of text in this game. It's a very story-based game, but the main reason we go up here now is to get a metal pipe. Now we go to back to the outpost, and we're going to make a crowbar. We're going Gordon Freeman on this. So, don't want to smash the light bulb. Yeah, the light bulb is the sun, and we need it to save the world. So now that we have a crowbar, this is why fast traveling is very useful. We're going to use a trick called a super fast travel, where it's each time you fast travel, it sends you to a certain location on the map. So there's going to be times where it's faster to fast travel out of the area and back into it, instead of just walking through the area normally. Once again, we're going to do it here once we get to the lookout point, and we're going to meet another new character. This is Silver. Silver is a tamed robot, and the word tamed there will have a lot of use later in the story. We need to go into her house to get a screwdriver and also alert her of our existence, because without her, we're not going to be safe enough to go into the mines alone. So in the mines, we need to get a camera and go to a cutscene. This area will become much important later when we do the actual Solstice content, but for now it's just like playing the game. So now when we leave the mines, we gotta go activate a power generator. So I'm gonna travel back to the outpost and do a few things. First step of action is to pry this box open. And then we're gonna camera screwdriver, get the lens for the battery. Alright. So now that we made a battery, we fixed a battery and charged it, we're gonna put it into this generator. And it'll power this fourth wall breaking computer that we saw at the beginning of the game, who's going to put a notepad in our documents, actually. Like my actual computer documents. So while I'm fast traveling to the cliffs, I'm gonna open that. And it's gonna have a password. 896875. That's a random password every time. What? 8968. Oops, I did that wrong. Alright. So now we just got a book. We just got a book and a gas mask. And with the gas mask, we can go into these areas with this toxic gas that we usually can't go into because it damages Nico. Or it, like, hurts to breathe, rather. But we're gonna just fast travel in and out and back in because it's faster. So in the old factory, we need to get the gloves for later. And we use the crowbar once again to bust open this. We get the sponge, which is also... The thing is, you get all these items to do, like, one goal at the end of the area and move on to the next, is, like, the main catch. So right now, what we actually need to do is find a way to get to the tower, which is where we have to put the sun to save the world. So right now, I need to go to the dorms and get a syringe. And we're basically gonna just put together a ton of stuff right now. So now we go do another super fast travel to the swamp. And we're gonna do some stuff now. So now we travel to the docks because we have to clean up a robot. So there's a lot of text mashing here. We're nearing the end of the first area of the game, which is this is the barracks. So now this robot is clean. But he doesn't, his, like, things are fried. So we need to talk to Silver and get a special crystal to help with. But we decide to return a little favor to Silver. So we play a game of chess. Nico decides to play a game of chess against a robot made to play chess, thinking it will end well. And Silver basically tells us that the sun might not save the world. Which is definitely not good. But now that we have the amber pendant, we can give it to the robot and help restore his circuits. And now that we help restore his circuits, we're off to the second area of the game, which is the Glen. We get a nice little cutscene here. There we go. So this robot has not been tamed, which is why it's okay for him to just leave us here. So this is the second area of the game. Now we're out of the Barrens. Welcome to the Glen. This is my personal favorite area in the game. It has my favorite characters, and it's just really pretty. So, of course, knowing this game, we're going to watch a long cutscene. But after we watch a long cutscene, we're going to run down to... I went too far. Oops. We're going to run down here. And knowing this game, it's super fast travel time. So this is... I'm going to do this to be safe. This is Calamus. Calamus lost his younger sister. Which... Never a good thing to lose your younger sister. Basically, we need to find this younger sister. Is our goal right now. And that big robot we saw will let us into the third area of the game, but we need to sign our name on a scroll, and we don't quite have anything to write with. So if I went the right way... Here we are. This is not a hard place to navigate. What am I doing? So this is Maze. She's a corn. So now we're going to leave the sun with Maze for a bit, because she really needs it, or else she's going to die. But as she relaxes in front of the warm sun, the vines around the area weaken, which is very useful. Because now we can go in here, and we have a little puzzle. That's the same every time, so this is why I know what I'm doing in this part. I messed up. There we go. I'm messing up. Okay, I'm gonna take it a bit slower. There we go. There we go. My bad. So now that we do that puzzle, look who it is. This is Lula. This is the younger sister that Calamus was looking for. So we talk to Alula, and then we run off, because... Or we have to talk to Alula, because we need to take Alula with us, or else Alula is just going to stay here and still be trapped in the ruins. Well, technically they live here, but trapped in that part of the ruins. So now we just have to leave the ruins, which is very easy to do. It's this way. But now that we ran this way, we go up here and there's rams. I hope you guys like rams, because we're about to hear a lot of rams. Ready for this? This is the ram puzzle. I messed up already, woohoo! I did that wrong. There we go. So now as a prize for hurting the rams, we get the wool. And we can trade the wool with this guy over here. This is Magpie, he's a trader. And we get this thing. So now that we have that thing, we can go back to the forest and return Alula. So now we're going to go give them a visit, because it's just a nice thing to do after you save someone's sister, to visit their house. You actually can't go through this area, because Nico never thinks to just kick the block. It's hilarious. Alright, so now we're going to get a very important item. We got the amber in the first area. But now we're going to get this feather. So now what we need to do is go down here. Because look who it is. We don't know what happened, but the sun wasn't lit back up. Now, if we were really 100%, we would have to take that seed with us, that corn kettle with us, to regrow the plant people, but we're not doing that because that takes long. So now that we have the sun and we have the sun back, and we have a feather, we need to do one other thing. First off, we need to sleep. You need to sleep once in each area, and I haven't done that yet because the route says to sleep right now. So we're going to sleep right now and get a second dream sequence. This one's going to involve something. This one's going to involve a wheat field. Because Nico lives in a wheat field back at home. She's kind of not home right now. Okay, so now that we're slept, we can... No, mix the feather and the dye and make a feather pen, which is important. Because as I said, we need to sign a scroll to get to the third area of the game. But we kinda didn't have anything to write with before. But now that we got the golden feather and the dye, we can make a pen. So that we can sign the scroll. And there's squares, which you probably don't want to touch those. We saw them in the first area after we opened the safe. They're kind of not good. But either way, that's it for the Glen. Now we're in the Refuge, which is the city and the third major area in the game. So, there's two parts to the Refuge, actually. And this robot tells us the library is a good place to go. So we would probably SFT here, but we don't get the fast travel ability here until we talk to this guy. And this guy's mad. Because the elevator's broken. So we gotta fix the elevator to go down to the surface. So the first step of action is to SFT over to the cafe, where we meet Ling, and won't see Ling for the rest of the run. Hi Ling, how are you? See ya. And now, we do what you always do in a situation like this. We go to bed. Sleeping is good. Now we have a dream where Nico's eating her favorite food. Pancakes. You guys like pancakes? She makes really good hazelnut pancakes. That sounds interesting. So, alright. Now that I'm being slow and not SFTing, or just FTing in general, now we gotta go put the rest together. The rest of the elevator button. No, pancakes. P-A-N-C-A-K-E-S. P-A-N-C-A-K-E-S. There we go. I can spell. Either way, we have to go take these scissors. They don't need them. Waffles are pancakes with heads. Ugh. This is getting really, really, really... I had mini pancakes for breakfast. So we got fridge magnets. They're very important. So now we're doing what we did with like the battery and the sponge, where we're gonna basically tape all of these things together at once. We're just gonna do a big crafting session right here to make the elevator button. So we need to take the metal can, cut that up, put the button on the magnets. The button is supposed to be a magnetic button that says ground, but if we tape the button, the magnets to the ground button, you know, maybe it just might work. So now we're gonna have to enter a security code for the elevator. Which is the same every time, so it's not 00000. It's usually a computer, like the one that gave us a document. We're supposed to get one in the Glen for a hint on that puzzle to save Alula. But we can also use one for this. We also get an item use one to get an item called the Weird Film, which you drag off screen, the game off screen and back on screen, and you get and it shows that code. So now we're gonna talk a bit. Because if you ask about, there's an option to stay silent, and then you just wait for the elevator scene to end. But if you talk about all three topics and mash fast enough, it's actually faster to talk to the Lamplighter there, instead of just waiting for the elevator to end. So we talked to him about his life. Wait, no? My bad. So we activate the back alley warp. And then we go to the library. And then we go to the back alley. And we use that to walk up here to the vendor street, and then go back to the library. So coming up here is a pretty major skip. What I'm gonna do is there's a mechanic where if you close the game, Nico gets really scared and there's a cutscene. So while walking onto this tile, which usually activates a cutscene, I'm gonna close the game and reopen it. And Nico's gonna get scared because I left. The god of the world left. And I'm able to use that cutscene to did not mean to talk to you twice. Basically, we're going to get a little cutscene, and that's going to cancel the cutscene that usually happens on that space, and that cutscene puts us back a tile. So we just basically snuck into the library early, which skipped taking a picture of ourselves, which basically did a huge skip of making a library card, which takes a very long time. So now in Nico's next stream, the light bulb breaks. So the dice character, the dice head here, this is George. She's just a total nerd. And she has 6 different faces, and it's random the one you get in each time you play the game. And she's going to give us our 3rd golden item, which is a dice. And once we have 3 golden items, we can go to the tower, which is the last area, the last major area. Now, this cutscene will still send us back a tile because we still don't technically have a library card. So we need to do the skip again to get back in to the library. And now Nico's hungry, but that's not important. We can have a really, heartwarming cutscene if we go to get food from the person back in the cafe on the sky area of the refuge, but we don't go through that cutscene. So now, coming up, there's an X on the ground, and since we have 3 golden phosphor pieces, like 3 of those gold things, like 3 shiny objects, we have the amber, the feather, and the dice. We can close the game and reopen it, and we'll be in the tower. So now I'm going to explain a tiny bit. So there's, in the game files, when you download this game, this part usually activates a file being added in your file explorer that has a thing in a Steam related folder that has this application with a clover. That's just a clover when you open it. It's in a different Steam file, and it's always there, but usually it is created right about this point. But we already have it open. I already have it open because I took it from that other file. And if you don't have it open, you can't finish the game here. So that computer is linked to a character called the Entity, who is basically kind of like helping us to get Nico home safely. But he didn't expect you to get as far as you are in the story. So, yeah. But he basically goes crazy explaining that if you finish the story, it's very dangerous because we learn that right now that we can't actually save the world and return Nico home both. We have to do one or the other, which is why I have the donation incentive for save the world or return home. So I'll tell you when to close that, but not yet. So now we need to do this little bit. And the door, there's a... Okay, I need to concentrate here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. The way I keep track of these doors is... There we go. The way I keep track of those doors is... I imagine every tile you can stand on has like a column. And the columns go from left to right. So the leftmost door is door 1. And from there I have a set of numbers memorized of what door. So for example, on a screen with 3 doors, the leftmost door is door 1, the middle door is door 2, and the rightmost door is door 3. So basically I have a 16-digit number memorized there, so that I know what doors to go in order. Oh, you closed it? Who won the bid war for Save the World or Return Home? I'm doing great. Okay. So now we need to take the sun. Whichever one I donated to, so save the world. I think. So now the Entity is going to be realized. Now we're in like an illusion of where Nico started. And the Entity is trying to protect Nico because Nico's the main character of the game. So if Nico dies, Entity can't exist. Or if Nico's not safe. So he's trying to tell us to like shatter the light bulb and return, like, you can't both save the world and return Nico home. You have to shatter the light bulb if you want Nico to go home. And one of the text boxes that you can't really see right here is, I can't go against my programming, I'm not tamed, which again will have more use later in the story. Next, this is Solstice, which means we're going to be doing post-game stuff. So time is not coming up for like over half an hour. So now we're telling Nico that we have to shatter the light bulb if we want Nico to return home. The saving the world in Solstice is 17 seconds faster. Because the credits are the same length, but there's less time until the credits start. And, alright. So here's where we make the decision. We save the world, which is what we do right here. So, answering a question from the beginning of the game, it only takes 1 cat to screw in a light bulb. So now we have a bit of chill time. We just have credits for a bit. Because you see, now the credits are already starting. And there's actually a longer cutscene before the credits start. I want to see that. Hold up. Okay, so if this was an any percent run, that would have been a 28:53. My best any percent time is a 27:49, so I'm okay with a 28. I actually really like the credits for this game. If you choose Save the World, they look very nice. But now I need to go into File Explorer because this game does kind of like a fake save file type thing. These credits are nice. I just have my amiibos on the side. So I'd like to thank everybody who donated to Save the World because that saved 17 seconds. Oh wait, I was the only one. So now we have this little scene. And usually this is where the game ends, but since the Solstice update, you get a fake save progress file on your computer, which you delete. And then you relaunch the game. And you get this again, and then you close it again, and reopen again, because you're still supposed to be fooled into thinking it's over, but it's not over. So, this is the Solstice playthrough. We didn't get the controls, and there's no TV remote right now. Nico immediately says our name, and we have to put in a password. The password is Solstice, because haha, we're doing the Solstice ending. And 11, but now there's more text box because the entity is like, I've seen you before. Everyone's very confused because they seem to know things that they don't. I'm an idiot, hold up. Stop talking to the TV, please. So we have the journal with us that we only used once last playthrough. I talked to the TV 3 times by accident because I forgot to light the branch on fire. But we're basically going to go to get the light bulb again. The beginning of the game is very similar to the Solstice, or the normal run, but it's going to change very fast. Solstice run is very interesting. Okay. So now we're in the Solstice. So if you wanted to, you don't have to do Solstice. You can just do New Game Plus as much as you want. We don't have fast travel yet, right? We can just do Solstice as much as we want, or New Game Plus as much as we want. We don't have to do Solstice right after. But this is a Solstice run, so I'm gonna do Solstice. Okay, I crashed the game. So I should explain something. So first off, we have to talk about everything. We have to ask Prophet every question there is, ProfitBot here. Instead of just like about the computer, or in this case about me being the god of the world. That wastes a bit of time. If you mash at too fast a speed during a dialogue selection text box like that one right there, the game will crash. So I was not surprised. I was honestly surprised it took this long for me to crash the game, but it just happened. So we need to talk to ProfitBot about every single text option there is. So we're gonna do this differently. We're gonna talk about me first. now we need to talk about everything else. Yeah, this game fortunately autosaves at key events in the game. So we don't lose too much time from crashes, but it's still not a good thing. We need to talk to Silver again. And here's where the Solstice path and the normal game path split. Obviously, we haven't slept or gotten the screwdriver, and we're not getting the camera. We get a weird flashback now when we go to this ledge of a character that seems similar to ProfitBot, but we'll shortly see what it is. And if you remember, for some reason, we still had the journal. Glowing. This means something important. So, you see a new clover. That clover... Here's the amber again. Oops. So, if we stand on this clover that wasn't here originally, and we open the journal while standing on it, the scene will look exactly the same because we're standing on the right part of the screen. So... Now, that spawns a minecart because the journal has a minecart. My name is Laurie, yes. And now we move the minecart. I just can't change the name on my computer, so it's stuck at whatever it was originally when I signed into it for the first time, because I don't know how this works. And now the entity's going crazy, because the entity's just like, oh god, you're not in the game anymore. This is not an area in the game. I'm not in an area in the game right now. This is out of bounds. Don't go here. But we go to this computer, old tech room, and one of the computers still works. So we walk in here, and here's the character that we saw. This is Prototype. Prototype, if you can tell from the design, is a prototype design of ProfitBot. But now he just sits alone in this blocked off part of the cave. Now we get an empty backup memory disk that we need to fill in this puzzle, do this to the computer, and put the disk in. And once we get the disk back, this is a major cutscene in the game. Basically, here we're gonna learn, Nico's gonna learn that this is a video game. We're gonna learn why Nico remembers that she's been here before. And Nico's gonna learn that this is a game. She's gonna remember the tower. This kind of doesn't make her so happy. And now Silver walks in. And he's like, we need to stay safe. So we'll try and leave. Entity is gonna be like, no. Because he's the Entity world machine. We learned about the world machine. The Entity is the world machine, kinda. It's weird. The Entity is like a spawn of the world machine or something. But the world machine really wants to protect Nico. So, when you make Nico sad, doesn't like it. And you see, there may or may not be some correlation between these squares and the world machine's unhappiness. Get out of here. Silver's pretty strong. And Prototype is tamed. By the way, I should mention that. Because that's gonna make sense soonish. Get in. I somehow walked around the minecart. So we're gonna start riding off into the sunset and try stabilizing. Try to protect you. Boom. So this place kind of flashes and screen blacks out. Wake up. Silver's hurt. Silver's not in good condition. Silver is dead. Bye, Silver. See you later. Okay, hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna do another skip similar to library card skip here. This is called the Proto Death Skip. Because it skips a cutscene with Proto dying. And because of that, we're gonna get some pretty funny placeholder text. The robot keeps bringing you back. We've been through this how many times? Sleepy time. So that's it for the Barons. Proto is supposed to be dead here. It's sleepy time. So now we're back in the Glen. And we can run across the vines. And usually we have to watch a cutscene where we have to see that the Glen is also not in good condition. It's not in good condition. It got destroyed by the squares. That may or may not have been caused by the world machine. But we can skip that cutscene by walking through that cutscene with another close skip. By just the library card. Like a close. I call it a close skip because you close the game and reopen it to skip a cutscene trigger. So the first course of action is to go see where Calamus and Alula, how they're handling. And their home is kind of gone. So now we're gonna go to the courtyard. The only time I went to the courtyard last run was to fast travel out of the courtyard, but now the courtyard's gonna be pretty important. Because we're gonna go in here, and they're gonna say, this is the river to the graveyard of our ancestors. But we don't have a boat. We have flashbacks. And you know what happened last flashback? What a surprise, it happened again. And we got a boat. Well, isn't that convenient? Let's go on a boat. We're off. We have another pretty little cutscene here. Really shows off how pretty this game is. Nico's little legs, they're so cute. So now we run over here, and once again meet the character from our flashback. Or whatever that vision was. So this is Cedric. He's a nerd. And his father made an airplane. And we can fix this airplane, but we need a battery and a gear. And some gears. So now we're gonna travel back to the courtyard. Actually, no, we traveled to the we traveled to the courtyard. So I'm gonna travel to the courtyard and go get a battery and some gears. Because what we need to do, you know, May's last time we tried to keep her alive by giving her the sun. We're gonna do the exact opposite this time. We're gonna kill Maze so she can grow the vines. We're not gonna murder her. We're gonna be like, hey, we're gonna try. We're gonna be like, hey, you want the sun? But she's gonna be like, no, because then I'll react, and we need the vines to keep the islands afloat. And then we're like, you need to push harder. And she dies. Bye-bye. Let's go. Alright, so now that we have the vines, now we can go get battery and gears, which we need to do for Cedric. Alright. So now we travel to the gate. Now that the vines are there, we can get across. We also don't have to watch the cutscene because we passed the trigger already. But now we go to an area that we didn't see. Where am I? Hold up. This was the wrong way to go. I'm not practiced enough for this. Well, I'm getting the gears first. So Magpie's back here, the trader. Everybody's in this part because everywhere else is like flooded or covered in vines. So we need to get a music box from Magpie to get the gears. We're gonna strip it of its gears, basically. Where do I go, though? There's supposed to be like a bridge, a vine. There it is. How did I miss that? I'm like not doing the right thing right now. Okay, but here's the research facility, which is only used in 100% if you're not doing Solstice. And we need to talk to this guy. And we're like... So, we need to deactivate these robots just so we can use their battery. Which is kind of sad. But now we travel back to the graveyard. Because we have a charged battery, and a music box. Guess what we need, guys? A charged battery and a music box. So we talk to Cedric, saying, hey, we have a battery. And then we talk to Cedric again, saying, hey, we have a music box. And it has gears in it. So now we're going to keep Cedric company while he fixes his plane. Worth a shot? Okay. So... we learn Proto built himself, basically. And we learn about the real world, and the world machine, and how your computer is the world machine. But your computer has a spirit, and that spirit is called the entity. And the entity is what's saving Nico throughout all the squares. But as the plane is fixed, Calamus and Alula arrive with not good news. The squares have arrived on the island and taken over the boat. So we need to take them to the city. But we're going first, because we need to make sure we're there. So that's it for the Glen. Entering the refuge now. So now Cedric needs to go back after flying the plane. But knowing our luck, plane got covered in square. Just fantastic. My dog is barking. So now we're gonna give Cedric the memory disk, and he's gonna skydive. And this big guy is not in the best condition, but there's a problem. Once again, elevator machine broke. Okay, so now we need to find a backup elevator. Stop running to the... Now we need to find a backup elevator. Fortunately, I know just where one is. It's in the office. Except not really. It's in a secret room in the office. This is where the computer that gives you the item that tells you the elevator code is. But since it's the same every time. So now we need to enter the password... Solstice again to get in here. Yeah, that's one of my favorite text boxes in the game. He's like about to swear, but then he's like, there's a child. So hey, there's a high up lever. We should get somebody tall to grab it for us. Now who's someone who's really tall? That's right, twitter.com/really_tall. Go follow him. He's a great guy. But except for that guy, Lamplighter is also really tall. So we're gonna take Lamplighter over to the Solstice room, which is what I call this area. Because that's what it is. It's a Solstice room. That's what the countdown was. That countdown in New Game Plus would originally activate a thing. So now we need to talk to Lamplighter again. And he's like, can you reach that? And he's like, hell yeah, I can. Sorry, I had to do jazz hands there. So I wasted time. This run would have been banned if he sweared. Oops. So he's gonna go back up, because why not? And the elevator's dead. Elevator machine broke. So we can't run to the right via library entrance to the tower. So we're gonna run back to where we came from, which was... Now, once we're gonna do Kip skip here. Kip is a character we skipped when we did library card skip, and there's Kip. We're not gonna see Kip. Because look at this, ready? I messed up. Hold up, I'm gonna task manager the game again. Because this skip saves a lot of time. So the autosave is back here, bottom of the elevator. So here we have another library skip. I don't really know what to call it. Skip, Solstice, Kip, skip, Solstice, library, skip. Basically, Kip is trying to catch Cedric because Cedric needs to be safe in the library like the only structurally sound building in the entirety of the refuge that won't fall due to earthquakes and squares. And Nico's gonna take us, or Kip was gonna take us there as well, but we don't want that because that's slow. We have a long-ass cutscene with George. Oh, my bad. There's a very long cutscene involving George and Kip. That was bad. But now we have Rue, who we skipped the flashback for in the first playthrough. When we ran into the back alley, there's supposed to be one early on in the back alley, but we just fast traveled past it. But now that we have Rue, we don't have the fast travel location. This area doesn't have a fast travel location in Solstice. So we need to do the skip again. Because the cutscene trigger is still there, because it's still marked as I didn't do the cutscene, so Kip is still there and the cutscene is still there. And we can do it with Rue, which is kind of funny. But now we have Rue, who is the third main Solstice character, alongside Proto and Cedric. So now we need to go back up to the Solstice room with Rue. So now we can't save the world because Cedric and Proto are supposedly dead. Because, you know, we had the backup memory disk, so we could have made another Proto. However, Cedric kind of got trapped between squares. So we're just gonna sit out here and watch the world crumble. We're going to talk about the world machine and who created Rue. And Rue's going to tell us a bit about robots. Basically, robots are untamed, programmed to do what they're programmed to do and nothing else. But we walk down here and look who it is. When the factory was falling, we found a robot. So, look who it is, Cedric and Proto. So now we have everybody we need. It's a very cute scene. So now we have these portals, and we need to talk about portals, which confuse cat noises. So we each need to move into portals. The journal's going to light up again, and it's going to tell us to go to our documents. I'm already in my documents, because I'm a smart cookie. So we're going to put each of them in here. So then I'm going to move up here. I'm going to do File Explorer stuff. Basically, each portal has a key. And I'm going to put each key in the main file, the main OneShot file, and then move all three of them into the portal in the big portal at once. And as you saw, they disappeared. And now, this is the world machine. And we walk in, and once again, close the game, and reopen. So now File Explorer is useless. And we're in, like, the last 5 minutes of the game. Yeah, there's going to be a bit before time. There's going to be a lot of cutscenes. Because this is basically the wrap-up of the game. We're going to have everything solved. So now we see Nico. this is the world machine. And kind of scared, because the world machine is your computer, but you've gone all these places that you weren't supposed to go. They've gotten so scared and messed up, and she tells us a lot. First off, the squares are messed up game code. That's what's happening. Wherever there's squares, something isn't being done right. There's a mess up in the game's code, and it's ruining. Yeah, world machine broke, basically. But we learn what taming is right here, most importantly. We learn that taming is making a robot feel something beyond what they were meant to feel. So Nico takes the light bulb, and we try and fight it. And it works. And we learn a bit more here. The world machine might be tamed. The world machine is its own being. It's not coded to do one thing. It's meant to do so much more. So it's trying to fill in the lost code. It's trying to get the squares out. So there's one last thing. And that is, before the world goes back to where it's supposed to be at, Nico should see everybody one last time. So now every character is going to be in this credits room. See that I actually have a lot of friends who were Solstice game testers, and we're gonna see their names in the credits, so I'm gonna shout some of them out. Shoutouts to everybody who made this game, though. Shoutouts to Ice Wolf, basically everyone in that list. I know all those people, and they're all great people. And Rue just walked through us, by the way. Yeah, but they're not like evil squares. They're like not evil. The game is made out of not evil squares, and those are evil squares. So now we're getting the ending we were always supposed to have. The sun is back, the squares are gone, and it's time for Nico to go home. So time is actually going to end when I say goodbye to Nico, which is happening at the end of this cutscene. I'm going to talk to Nico one last time about how you shouldn't be sad, you did everything you were to do. You've made everybody happy, basically. Don't cry. This ending makes me cry, though. Okay. And... okay, so get ready on time. This ending music is really nice. I really like it. So here's where we woke up, and there's a little portal. So here's the last cutscene. We basically say, Nico, you made it. It worked. Ready, and... get ready on time. Time. I want to know what my time was first before I do something else. I'm gonna change this to this actually, because there's something very interesting that happens here.